Hello everybody and welcome back to another race day here. As you can tell, a croaky voice because, we're recording it anyway, because why not? I do have the support of a former driver, now reserve driver, going to return after Christmas when he gets his wheel, but commentator for now. We have Bailey on commentary today.
How are we, everyone?
And it's the Austrian Grand Prix. We're here at the Red Bull Ring, and yes, I know the name of one of the tracks. Like, oh my god, it's amazing. Yes, here we are, people. What are you expecting from today, Bailey?
I mean, of course, I've been away from the scene for a couple of weeks, so I don't know how some people have been driving, but it's definitely going to be an exciting race from many people. And I'm excited to see how Peter does on his first race out of commentary.
Yes, of course. Peter is finally taking up the wheel today. Unfortunately, with Carl's departure from the league, Mercedes has become a free team for reserves to hop into if they want. And Peter, being a reserve and wanting to finally drive, has chose to race in the Mercedes.
And yeah, it's definitely going to be very interesting. Carl, who was in the few races that he did race, he did pull out some very decent performances, so it'll be interesting to see if Peter can maintain that form for Mercedes throughout the coming races.
And stupid me, I forgot to get it up. But if we just get it up here, we can see the current standings within the league. I will screen share it for you as I normally do, Bailey. Just so you can see it as well, and we can just sort of do a rundown of what it is. But for racing today, we have Callum, Preston, Peter, Jamie, Harry, Charlie, and I believe George as well. And I haven't missed anybody, have I, Benny?
Not that I can see now.
Good.
That's everything.
We are going to now pull up the F1 standings. I've screen shared for you, Bailey. Hop on if you want to.
Got it.
As you can see, Bailey, our championship battle is very interesting. I think it's like what would you say? Maybe a 5-way battle, or just a 4-way battle, or something. What would you say about that? I mean, George dropping behind a bit, but
I mean, it's definitely very close at the top and towards the bottom as well, but definitely could call it a 5-way, and any driver, they're all very talented in their own different ways, so any driver could really take it throughout the rest of the season.
honestly, I will say that as well. But we don't normally mention constructors, but we'll mention it. Oh, Jamie taking a 106.487. Callum beating that by 1/10 of a second with 106.310 in the Aston Martin. Charlie, I shouldn't be doing this with a sore throat, but here we are. Harry going P9 with a 107.163. Charlie going P11 with a 110.752. And George in P12 with a 111.994.
Peter taking P2 as well. 106.459. Very solid first lap of the season for him.
Bailey, what on earth is happening to Charlie and George? I mean, they're championship contenders.
I mean, it's still early on. There's still, I mean, a decent amount of time in the qualifying, and I'm sure they will be getting better laps than that. I'm sure they're still just getting used to the track and still trying to adjust, but I'm sure they'll be flying up the qualifying very soon.
We do hope so, but Preston has gone 110.279. Even he's dropping down.
I mean, maybe it's just not their tracks. Everyone has their tracks, and maybe it's just not for them. But I'm sure Callum and Jamie and Peter at the top will be looking to capitalise on their poor results. But George does go into second with a 106.394. So, as I said, he'd get a much better lap than he has there.
It really is incredible. I mean, we're only, I can't even remember how many races we're in now. God, probably like the 9th race or something.
Definitely not halfway.
Yeah, I think about the 9th race because I uploaded about the 6th race today, which is the Belgian Grand Prix. Go watch it if you haven't already. Yeah, I mean, the championship is really building up to be an exciting one. Do you think I know we're a long way away from this now, but coming into Abu Dhabi, will we expect to see a tight battle like we are right now, or will it be a bit more of a runaway with someone taking it?
I mean, from a commentator and a spectator's point of view, I want to see a tight battle towards the top. But I mean, it could go either way with how it with the drivers. I mean, any driver at the moment could walk away with it, but I do reckon it'll maintain being close at the top.
Oh, and just thought I'd add, Jamie has spun at the entrance of the pit lane, struggled to get in, and he's bounced up to P4. Nice one by Jamie. Jamie's been doing very well recently.
I've been very impressed. Didn't have the best of starts to the season, if I do say so myself, but he's picked it up a little bit recently.
He really has. He really has. And, I mean, I don't think there's one driver who's not in this championship fight now. And it's pretty crazy. I mean, you know, right now, what do we have? We have 6 drivers and about 3 or 4 reserve drivers. I mean, we could have about 10 drivers on the grid come Abu Dhabi if everyone turns up. But, I think the championship is just going to be very, very interesting. Early prediction. Who's taking the title?
I mean, I said it about 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. If Preston can make the races, Preston will walk it for me. But it's all about him getting the races. Of course, he was initially a reserve driver. So that is the key thing, that he does make the races and he's able to get the results every week. But, I mean, if Preston doesn't get it, it's going to be a lot tighter. I mean, Harry for Ferrari, Jamie even coming through for Red Bull. But, I mean, it could go to loads of different drivers. I still think it's too early to say. But for me, if Preston can get there, it will be Preston's.
Very interesting. I mean, we talk about Preston right now. Down in P19, Charlie down in P20. There's been no improvement there yet.
There hasn't. I mean, there'll be still 11 minutes left of qualifying. They'll be looking to get a decent timed lap, because neither driver will be wanting to start near the bottom. Because I mean, I can tell you myself, I know how hectic it can get down there. So, no, neither driver wants to be starting down there. That's for sure.
I bet you wish you were still racing now with those guys down there.
I mean, I wish I was. I could cause a little bit of mayhem down there, but nah. I mean, I'm sure they'll pick it out with 10 minutes to go.
Who knows? It'll definitely be an interesting watch. That is for sure. But Callum up in P1, he's held it quite steady this whole time.
I mean, yeah, it's still his first lap as his best one, I believe. So I'm sure he's just riding it out now until he has to go. But there's still 10 minutes left, so I wouldn't be risking anything if he is, because I'm sure Preston and Charlie... Preston has spun out, though. I've just seen.
Oh!
But just as I was saying they'd catch it up, Preston has spun out. Charlie... They've taken him.
Can we just appreciate Peter has gone P1, 0.2 of a second above Callum. We were just talking about Callum holding that P1 position, and then Peter comes in like, this is my position, see you later.
I mean, I've seen him race a couple of times. I knew if he could adjust to the track and adjust to how the drivers drive, he would get a decent result, and he's proved that by taking over Cal with a 106.195, which is a very impressive time.
It really honestly is. And just going on to a very different subject. Oh, a yellow flag in sector 2 and sector 3. I believe Jamie has spun out again.
It's not what we want to be seeing from him. It does look like it is. He's just come off the gravel. A
very unlucky start to qualifying for Jamie, but I mean, he's up in P4, so is it really that bad? I mean, who knows? Yeah, back to what I was saying. You know, very random topic, but reserve drivers. Do you think there should be a time where, if they appear in most races of the season, they should be counted as just regular drivers? Or do they stay as normal drivers, as Charlie takes that P1 position with a 136? That's 300ths of a second. Whoa!
I said it'd happen. Preston beating the 106 mark with a 105.994. And another person we missed slightly, Harry, up into P5. A lot better of a lap for him.
This is honestly astonishing. All the drivers pulling out all the stops, taking all 7 top spots in the grid. This grid will not be a mixture of positions. And we say
Harry
that.
has just spun out, and Jamie
Oh!
collides with them. They were very tight for a long time.
5-place grid penalty for Harry.
I mean, that's just thrown what we've said right out the window with them being in the top 7.
Harry will not be happy.
I don't think there's a lot he could do though. I was watching him and he just spun out on the turn. But I mean, the game is the game.
Yeah,
So
it's just been a very unlucky qualifying for Harry as well. But yeah, anyway, reserve drivers, should there be a cut-off where they're counted as normal drivers if they're appearing in loads of races? Why does this keep happening? George taking my 105.334, or as I can't finish my sentences.
that is absolutely mental. I mean, I know I'd definitely be down with Latifi and Schumacher right now if it was me, but these guys are putting on a show, that is for sure.
I think this is a good thing about being up in the commentator's box. I think you agree. You get to see every bit of action there is.
I'm loving it. I normally get bored sitting at the back of the trail fighting with Schumacher every week. I don't get to see the top of the grid until I watch the video, which of course you all should be doing.
Yes, and if you're not, then that's very disappointing. But if you weren't, then you wouldn't be hearing us saying this, so I don't... Well,
Exactly.
yeah. Anyway, reserve drivers. You've heard my sentence. Take it away.
I mean, it should be up to the driver, I think. I mean, if they feel like they're coming in for more races and they're able to make more races, then 100%. If they want to be classed as permanent races, they can. But as I said, it should just be up to the driver, I think.
Yes, it's an interesting topic. I mean, I've had a few drivers bring up that whole argument. I'm like, well, it's down to their decision. You know, it's them. If they feel like they won't be able to make it, if they don't want to risk it, then that's fair enough on them. Like, you know me. I'm not someone who will say to drivers, "Oh, you've got to turn up all the time." But if they don't turn up for like 6 races, there's gonna be words spoken.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, if they're confident that they're not going to make, say, 75% of the races, then the other drivers will be asking questions. So it's definitely up to the driver's commitment and availability for the races.
And I just want your opinion really quickly. Harry has said to me he wants that grid pen reversed. Should it?
Yeah, I was just about to say he told me to message it. I don't think it should be reversed necessarily. I think it should be overturned, definitely. But I mean, I don't think either driver's done anything wrong there. I mean, Harry's just spun and Jamie's come around the corner and they've collided. So definitely not reversed, but overturned.
So you think we should give him back his whatever position he gets here?
Yeah, he shouldn't be given the 5-place grid penalty, in my opinion.
Okay, right, okay. Do you mind taking it away for a second? I'm going to have to do some quick things.
I can do.
Very sorry, very sorry.
That's alright. See, Peter still in P3 maintaining it. Of course, he'll be wanting to push even further. But Preston and George with very good times. Didn't have the best of starting to qualifying. But they've come through. And Peter has now gone into the pits.
I'm very sorry to leave you open and dry. But here we go. I am back. We've got 3 minutes and 40 seconds left to qualifying. I've told everyone to quit once they're done with qualifying because we will be overturning that penalty because, as Bailey rightfully said, it was not a pen.
Definitely not. I mean, from what I saw, I mean, I've been spectating Harry for a couple of minutes and he didn't seem to have the best control of the car, I must say, but it's just on the turn, he's just spun out, and there's nothing you can do about it. With these cars and their speeds, there's nothing you can do when they spin out.
And plus, if that was to happen in real life, in real Formula 1, that would not be a pen. It'd just be a racing incident.
Exactly.
So, but yes. Here we are. You currently have George in P1, Preston in P2, Peter in P3. Peter and P3, love that. Charlie in P4, Callum in P5, Harry in P6, and Jamie in P7. This is looking to be a mega race. What are you expecting from this race?
I mean, it's going to be a good battle every lap of the way. And I just can't wait. As Charlie has gone into P2, he's jumped over Preston and Peter with a 105.511. Sorry, but as I was saying, it should be a very interesting race indeed between all the drivers at the top of the grid. One thing I'm very disappointed about is my two AlphaTauri drivers in P17 and P18. We won't even talk about it, honestly.
Yeah, AlphaTauri is not doing quite well since you left, mate. Clearly, Yuki losing that solid partnership is just revolting. And Ricardo has been disqualified. Oh my god!
What just happened? I just saw like 6 people get disqualified.
Sergio Perez, Lewis Hamilton. What's worse is the 2 McLaren drivers have been disqualified. Bradley's been done in.
That is ridiculous. I don't even know what happened. I was spectating George, but I just see 6 drivers get disqualified. Perez, Hamilton, Norris, Sainz, Ricardo, and Tsunoda. I mean, I'm fuming about Tsunoda, but I mean,
Pierre Gasly's still up there at P12.
Yeah, I mean, he's flown up since that, but that's one thing I've got to take out of it.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, none of our drivers have been disqualified, so that's always good.
No. I mean, Harry leapfrogged Callum as well with a 106.280, I believe. I don't think he was in P5 before.
He wasn't. I believe Callum was higher than him.
Yeah.
So something's happened.
He's just leapfrogged him. Harry's obviously just got a faster lap. So, with the penalty removed, Harry will be in P5.
But yes, oh my god!
Peter's out!
No!
Harry was on the gravel as well. Everything's kicking off at the end of this qualifier.
I mean, last few seconds, what are you expecting from this race? Very quickly.
I mean, it's just... Then last couple of minutes, you just turn the race around. But I think our 7 real-life drivers will put on a very good show, no matter what.
I mean, Peter, is he going to get shot down to P14 now? He could do.
He won't be happy with that either way.
He's not. I bet he's fuming right now. But very unlucky qualifying for Peter. Well, very entertaining qualifying for us.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying to Peter, I was telling him my strategy, start at the bottom, climb your way up. Of course, it hasn't worked that well for me, but I really am hoping it does work for Peter.
Who knows? But as qualifying now comes to an end, everyone doing their final laps now. Callum and George, the last to finish their laps. George now comes around the final corner and followed by Callum, I believe, just behind. George takes P1. Oh my god.
He secured it that bit more. He's already in P1, but he wanted it even further. What a 104 something.
He wants that championship, and he's going for it. Right, this is your qualifying rundown. Very quickly, you have Georgia P1, Charlie P2, Preston P3, Peter P4, Callum in P5, Harry in P6 and Jamie in P7. What an exciting qualifying you have all just witnessed. Do not miss it, people, and we'll be right back with you for the race. Austria, the Red Bull Ring, of course, the legendary circuit that it is. Here we are, of course, for race day. You have Georgia P1, President P2. Jamie has jumped up to P3 due to some gridding issues that we will not talk about. Charlie has dropped down to P4. I believe Callum was already in P5. Harry has dropped down to P8. And the most unfortunate one, if I must say, Bailey, and I think you agree with me, Peter at P20.
I mean, yeah, 100%. You were saying how amazing this track is. I don't think we've really done it justice with how much difficulties we've had behind the scenes with all the qualifying and how it's all just fucked up.
There is a massive build-up happening at the back. And Harry has left the session.
I'm not even... he did say he might need to leave, so that might be it.
Oh god, that's not good. All that trouble and he's gone through and now he's having to leave.
Yeah, he said he needs to go sort something. So
Well, his AI is still in, so we're gonna take it as if it's him. You know, why not? But
exactly.
yes, people. Here we are in Austria. It's gonna hopefully be a great race. Who knows? It's gonna be an exciting one. We have George back finally. We have the seasonal constructors champions back on track together at the same time. This hasn't happened since Abu Dhabi season 2, people. It's just amazing. And whilst I'm at it, go join my Discord and follow the new TikTok, because why the hell not? You get to see clips of old seasons if you haven't already seen it, and you get to discuss with drivers in my Discord. Well, when they decide to pop on, of course, which is never, but I will make them, don't you worry. But I will hand it now over to Bailey.
I mean, just as I was looking, Preston got disqualified from the session, so I'm not gonna question that. But
It's just disqualified from formation lap.
oh, okay, right, my bad. But yeah, as all the drivers line up for the race to start, it's gonna be a very interesting race indeed, with how the qualifying is mucked up. Harry has been disqualified. He's joined back. I don't know what the fuck's going on with Harry. But lights off and away we go here in Austria. George still in first, but Preston putting the pressure on as he gets into P1. Jamie into P2 as well. Callum climbing up one place over Charlie as well.
Oh, and there's been a spin at the back, and I believe a major collision at the back. Charlie was involved. I believe he was the one who spun. Very unlucky start for Charlie, but Peter has climbed up to P14 here.
I mean, he'll be very happy with that. We spoke to him briefly before the race. He said he's super annoyed with how he got disqualified, and then put into P20. But he's happy now in P4 flying, and I'm sure he'll just look to capitalise more and more on the drivers ahead of him.
He really will, and it's going to be an exciting one, that's for sure. But Preston taking that P1 position under pressure by Jamie, George and Callum. What's happening between them four?
There's only a seventh of a second in between all four drivers.
Oh, George maybe go for an overtake, but he can't reach for it.
And Preston leads into lap 2, 1:14 on the clock for his lap.
And George gets the overtake on me inside. I'm very sorry to interrupt you, Bailey. But George makes it past Jamie. What an overtake by George. But now Callum is also on, pressuring Jamie as well. What can happen there? But Preston is trying to fly away with it here. Peter up to that P13 position now. Charlie up to P11. What was the battle between Peter and Charlie?
I mean, it's definitely a possibility. I mean, I know, maybe not as much as you guys, but I know the capabilities of Peter as he takes the position off Sebastian Vettel as well. And he takes it off Charlie as well.
They're coming together. They're going wheel to wheel into the corner. Peter tries to push for it, and he does. He gets past Charlie, but Charlie may not be giving up yet. He may be going for the attack on Peter. Can he bring it back and get back that position?
I mean, I'm sure he'll be looking to, and I definitely know that won't be the end of that battle between those two drivers. Both very competitive, both very aggressive drivers. And I know what Charlie will look to make the move on him. But I'm not sure that Peter will make it so easy.
And if we just look at your old partner, Yuki Tsunoda in P6 now.
That is my go. I've been smiling here, sitting here, as Peter is battling with Sergio Perez. But Peter is in the wall.
Oh, no!
He was in the wall.
Oh,
and the driver Danny Ricciardo just drove into the back of him and left him stranded. A Schumacher is disqualified.
What on earth has happened here? We're going to undeafen him now. And he's left the call. Oh, that's not good. He is not happy.
I don't blame him. I saw it briefly. Well, I saw the second part of him. I saw him in the wall. Then he drove back onto the track, and Danny Ricciardo was or Schumacher, I don't remember which one it was. One of them just gone straight into the back of him.
But the thing is, he's still surviving. His wing is not damaged.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That is. I mean,
but
I'd be absolutely fuming if I was him right now.
He's left. I get that you'd be fuming, but he's still in it. He could have still raced.
I mean, he is still racing, but
I
don't know.
just saw him left. I don't know. But even if he's still in, who knows? But Jamie is now under pressure from Callum. George has dropped down to P4 now. What's gone on there?
Right, I've been focusing at the back, but I did just see Jamie and Callum fly past George. Must have had a bad corner or something. I didn't see if Peter had left or not, so he might have just left.
A very unfortunate day for Peter, I must say. I mean, his AI is still in, so I mean, I can still give him points if he gets up there. If his AI gets up there, I guess we'll see what happens in time, won't we? But we're just going to go around the grid again. Charlie currently in P10, got Sebastian Vettel and Sergio Perez round him. Will he be able to get past Sergio Perez? Will Vettel potentially come back and overtake Charlie? Will Charlie be able to defend?
I mean, Charlie is looking to make a move on Sergio Perez as we speak. Sebastian Vettel, only about 2 or 3 car lengths between him and Charlie. But Charlie, as I've experienced myself as a driver, he's a very aggressive driver, and I'm sure he'll continue this here in Austria.
He is using that DRS. He's not using the ERS, but he's on that DRS right now. Charging after the Red Bull of Sergio Perez. Will he get past? You can hear my voice going already, so who doesn't love that, eh?
And speaking of Sergio Perez, his teammate Jamie up in P2, trying to gain some distance on Callum and trying to push to close the 2.7 seconds gap on Preston. As George gets the overtake, but Callum gets it back cleanly. I know he's trying to gain some distance on Jamie.
He really is, and what an exciting battle this is between the top 4 drivers in this race so far. But do not count out Peter or Charlie, as they, I'm sure, will get back up, but who knows, we shall see. I mean, Callum potentially catching up to Jamie here, but George straight on to Callum. Will George be able to pull out another attack maybe on this straight?
I mean, he's going to look to, definitely. He's only a tenth of a second in between it. He can't get the overtake on the straight, but I'm sure he'll look to maintain that momentum. But it is just a 3-horse race. In for P2 as George gets the overtake into P3. And he's looking to gain on Jamie as well. Only a fifth of a second in it. But Jamie maintains it for now on the corner.
But can Jamie hold on to it? Elmis straight, George using that DRS and ERS, going after it. And we will undeafen Peter now as he joins us on commentary. How are you doing, Peter?
Pissed off, because Charlie's a dirty driver.
Mate, you're still in the race, though. Your AI's still alive. No wing damage or anything.
No, I did have wing damage. I'll tell you what happened, right? So I won't rant on for too long because it will fuck up the race. But yeah, I was going wheel to wheel. Charlie was obviously slow. I was the faster car, me and Charlie, right? Charlie is slow out of turn 2, right? I'm quicker, right, at this part. I've just passed Vettel. I've got a clip and Charlie turns in on me. He sort of turns in on me. And then the reason I crashed was because I was going around the outside. I was fine, and then I was getting bumped. I had to avoid contact with Perez, so I had to go a bit wide. Came back onto the track, and then Perez took me out essentially. And then when I reset, one of the McLarens hit me.
I mean, I hate to be biased as a commentator, but I do have to agree with you how Charlie. I mean, I've been saying that all day. Charlie is a very, very aggressive driver and a bit too aggressive at times. So I definitely know where you're coming from that.
Yeah.
Do you want to push a penalty potentially for Charlie?
Well, I can send you the footage. I can show you it. I mean, I think Charlie will try to come back up to me, where Perez got taken out by George Russell, literally on that bend that Charlie's just come from right there. Yeah.
Oh
my god!
My god!
Who is that?
That was just That was just Lewis Hamilton, your Mercedes partner. 5-second penalty to Charlie for a severe collision with Gasly.
Yeah, he's over trying to take cars as well, and he's going to have to give them back.
What the hell is going on here?
Oh, well,
Hamilton disqualified from session for parked in dangerous location.
Yeah, what was he doing there?
I don't know what's Vettel's out as well. Vettel is out. He was smoking from the back of his car, and he just drove onto the side. But he is out. 4 drivers out already on lap 7.
I would
There's
have
3
stayed
in the
in,
pits
but-
now.
Are you here to commentate now then, Peter, fully, or?
Well, do you want me to, or because you got bailing?
I'm happy for you to join us. I mean, my throat's sore, so I
All
need
the help
all the
is
help
very
I can get.
appreciated.
Can do. I'll also get the footage at the end. I'll show you like it wasn't like race ending like the thing like, but I still think Charlie was a bit of a dirty driver though, turning in on me though.
I mean, he's already got 1 penalty at the moment.
It's probably the penalty that. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
I can't say much. I was faster than Charlie, so I was faster than him. So I was gonna get past him easily, but it's like he just turned in on me. I was like,
Yeah. He's done it to me before. I think in Spain, it was race 2 or 3. He did it to me. He had like spun out and he was at the bottom with me, and I've just tried to take the outside, and I'm obviously going faster, but he's just gone into me. But then he's retired out of it. So it's not the first time he's done that. That's for sure.
Unbiased commentary, boys. Unbiased commentary.
No, I'm trying to be unbiased. I'm just giving my point of view. I mean, I'm not technically a commentator. I'm still a driver, technically.
obviously,
No.
well, I'm not a happy boy after qualifying, because qualifying I should have been starting in the top 4, and then the one shot came, and then I had to start from the back of the grid because of a failure of my own, which I'll hold my hand up. I did kind of bin it into turn 2, and then but I don't know.
Will you be
Qualifying
back for
ruined
another
it.
race?
I don't know, Dan.
I would love to see you back on the grid. I think you've had a very unlucky time, as you know, you've just been very unlucky today. But apart from that, your driving looked really good. I think you could definitely drive again.
Yeah, I might, but for the meanwhile, that's probably why I've stayed as a commentator and opted to be a commentator, not a driver. Because I actually get annoyed as well, and it's not good for me.
But anyway, as we move on, it's a safety car, boys. Peter, what's your predictions for this race? You currently have Preston, George, and Callum up there. Jamie has majorly dropped down. We didn't even notice. What's your predictions?
Yeah, he pitted. He did pit.
Yeah, so he wanted to clearly overcut some of the drivers at the top to get himself the upper advantage. What do I think? What's my predictions and who's going to win it and who's going to get a podium? I mean, we've all seen what Preston and George are like when they're racing. I don't know what Callum's been like during the race because I haven't been watching it. But I mean, I reckon it could be a nice little three-way fight again. This time with the two constructors champions from season 1, Callum and Preston racing, which is quite interesting. I've actually never seen these guys race, so I mean, I don't know if they like have respect and like I'll let you do your own thing and I'll just back off, or maybe I don't know. But I think I don't know yet. I'm not entirely seeing what the first 10 laps have been like for these guys, so anything can happen really.
With Preston and Callum, what it was in season 1 and season 2, there was that respect there. And if, let's say, if they were in a battle with someone else and they needed to do it for the team, one of them would sacrifice to win and hold the other driver back almost to let the other one get away, if you get what I mean. However, if it was just them two fighting further away than anybody, which it pretty much was most of the time in season 1, I won't lie, they would fight it. Sometimes they collided together. You know, they were dangerous teammates.
I mean, was that kind of like a similar thing for Harry and Carl? Or...
Harry and Carl, they fought. They did fight. They didn't really collide as much, but they fought a lot more. because they were on for a championship. But Callum realised at one point that he wasn't on for a championship, but he fought anyway. But you could tell the difference between the two teams fighting, really.
Yeah, fair enough. And Callum has actually already dropped a second behind George, so he's not had a great restart.
And someone that has had a great restart, your AI up into P13.
That's my AI doing bits, can do better than what I can, apparently. Surprised
Lando
that my
Norris
AI's
looking
gone
to make a move. Sorry.
I was about to say, I was surprised my AI went for the softs as he goes. My AI tries to go down the inside of Lando Norris. Found his fast right-hander. He does make
A brilliant overtake.
Up into P12, as now he has his eyes set on Jamie as his next victim.
Next victim, wow.
I was just about to say, Lando Norris was about to make a move on Jamie. They were wheel to wheel briefly, but then your AI has just come straight out of nowhere on Lando Norris.
Oh, go up to the top because George is catching up to Preston. A 0.4 gap could get the DRS potentially if it's been enabled. I don't think it has, so all he has is that slipstream on Preston. Is George catching up? Will Callum catch up? I mean, Benny, you saw Callum and George were fighting respectfully and nicely. They kept swapping positions, didn't they? I don't know how best to describe it, really.
It was a brilliant little battle between the two, and I'm sure they'll make that. Well, Callum at least will look to maintain that, as he is 1.5 seconds behind George at the moment. But I'm sure he will look to close that gap.
And Jamie currently in P10. I'm struggling to speak right now. This is getting awful. Oh my god, I went high pitch here.
My AI is seeming to catch the driver in front.
But you did just get overtaken by Latifi, so.
Oh.
Rip.
And now Lando Norris maybe go for the overtake as well. I think he's got it, but your AI's bouncing back. But Lando takes the inside line. Oh
my god.
No one likes you or your AI today.
Back to the top. It's only 0.3 of a second now between George and Preston, as he has DRS. Preston trying to defend from George with the DRS, the quicker car right now, because he has DRS and using his ERS as well. But he's going to hold him behind for another lap. And keep him through these corners. This is getting interesting right now. Overtakes all over the place. Jeez, do you reckon that Callum can pick up the pace and get back to the top, or do you reckon this is where he is for the rest of the race?
I mean, he'll definitely look to. I'm sure he won't be happy with his start for the first couple of laps after the safety car. But, I mean, he is just seeming to fall further and further behind the front two, with Yuki Tsunoda gaining time on him now, just 1.3 seconds in it. But Callum, I mean, he looks promising, he looks a good driver, but I mean, I just don't see him catching the front two at the moment.
If we look back to the top, it's only 0.2 of a second now. Sorry to cut back off there, you Bailey, for a minute, but George just can't seem to make use of that DRS and get past him like he should be able to. And as a yellow sector one, that McLaren of Daniel Ricciardo, I think that is. Oh, and Charlie as well. So
Charlie had spun out.
Not having a good race as well, sitting the championship leader at the back of the grid right now. He'll probably be desperate to try and get past and probably make up in the championship, but it's fine for him because he probably wants to remain a big gap so that he can have some races where he can afford to, if he wanted to, or if he had no option to finish at the back of the grid or somewhere where he wasn't scoring points. He has that big enough gap to do that, and that will only last him one race, and then it will be back to fighting it out and making sure that he scores points every single weekend. Because
Yuki just got into the back of Preston. I'm sorry to cut you off. Preston just wasn't moving, and Yuki now gets the overtake on him.
Wait, does he? Oh, he has no front wing either now. As the Ferrari now looks to go down inside. Oh, it's getting a bit messy right here. Preston getting caught up in that. I don't know what happened to him.
Jamie spinning out as well.
What's going on today, guys? I mean, I'm not having a particularly good race, and then I spin out, and then I leave, and then you got Callum having Tsunoda going to the back of him. Preston's down to P4 now, and he hasn't pitted, so that means he must have made a mistake. George up into P1 now for a 4-second gap. Jamie spinning out, my AI up into top 10, Charlie at the back of the grid. I mean, what's going on?
It's all a massive mess. I think there was like a 4 or 5 car little crash. Preston being one of them, Yuki being another, and Signs being slightly evolved as well. And it's just messed up. I mean, from what I saw of it, Preston was just completely stopped on the track, and then Yuki's gone around the corner, going onto the main straight, and
I'm in the
he's just gone
pits
into the
as
back of
well.
him. I think he needed to, but he's going to lose a lot of places now. Shinoda and Albon also going into the pits. They must have been involved.
Yeah, I mean, like Sonoda has no front wing, so he had to come into the pits.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on with Preston, unless he's just boxing and trying to get that undercut over George. George will have to react to him this lap, and he will actually have to pit this lap to maybe cover off this undercut that Preston and the others have done. So the question is now, can George remain and get this race win? And my AI is in the pits as well. Lovely. Lovely. Yeah, do you reckon George can maintain and get some pull out and pull up a gap between him and Sainz so he can pit and have a good pit stop and then, maybe get that overcut over Preston, Callum and George? Oh, for a second there, I was thinking what was going on. Was he made it look like he was going to go in, and then he did actually go in. So George now into the pits with a 9.1 second gap. What's your predictions, Bailey?
Carlos Sainz going onto the main straight now. Bottas also in the pits with Latifi. But this is not a top 5 you see every day. Sainz, George, Alonso, Bottas and Jamie making it up. Latifi was there for about half a lap there. But I mean, George now still in P6 coming out of the pits. He's still comfortable. He's still got room to make that up.
Yes, and that is one thing for sure. Obviously, Charlie now up into the top 10 now in P7 right now, which is he's going to be catching George very rapidly because Charlie's tyres will not be cold, and compared to George's where it will be cold. So he'll be lacking that grip at the moment for this lap as he tries to warm up those tyres. I mean, if Dan is here... Is Dan here?
I am sorry. I was letting you guys take it away and kind of give my voice a bit of a rest.
You're good, you're good.
And the good thing is you're recording as well, so we can you've been focusing on the drivers, I think, for you've been talking about. But if you talked about Jamie much, I mean, he was down in P10. He's now up to P3. I may be even higher potentially because of.
And now probably be into the race.
Yeah, he'll go into P1 because Sainz is also in the pits, and he does now going into lap 18.
So now Jamie having that undercut when he pitted under the safety car, didn't he? He pitted under the safety car, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
He did, yes.
Yeah, so that safety car pit stop has really helped him and has gained him the lead of this race. George with 5.2 seconds behind him. Who will be quicker? The person who's had these tyres on for a good 5 laps, maybe a bit less, whereas George is a brand spanking new and will be looking to gain on Jamie. I mean, it's quite incredible that he's leading the race again. As of last weekend, he was leading the race. I mean,
Mate, I'm telling you now, he is a serious contender this season for the championship. And I just want to say I apologise for any clicking on my keyboard. I did mute the audio on the video, but I forgot to mute the audio on the Discord. So whilst you guys were commentating away, I was just clicking away and you could probably hear it. But yes, Jamie up in P1. What a serious title contender.
And I think that's Callum or someone spun round. I think that might have been Callum.
It was Callum. It was Callum.
Yeah, it was Callum then. Having a minor spin there, not losing any positions. And geez, Charlie up into P3. And Charlie and Jamie have made the bigger gains in this race. Obviously, because Jamie having a somewhat decent race. I don't know what it was like at the start, but Charlie, though, when I was racing him, he didn't seem that fast during the race. He was quite slow.
Jamie, I think Bailey mentioned it earlier. He had a very weak start to this season. He spun out.
DNFs?
Yeah, a few DNFs. He spun out in Bahrain. I believe either Bailey and Jamie almost came together in Bahrain, but luckily Bailey kind of just avoided it. You know, now after the last 2 races, he's shown how much he can challenge for this title. Could we be seeing Jamie as a World Drivers' Champion by the end of this championship run?
Can I say something? Can I say something? I mean, at the start of this, the start of this 2022 real life F1 season, remember Verstappen didn't actually have the greatest start to his seasons, having DNS, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's it, easy. That is an easy wrap for Leclerc." Now, Jamie, who's had mistakes and not scored in a couple, has taken, I think, already 3 podiums, 1 win. Could potentially take a 2nd win this season if he can hold off George. But yeah, I mean, and then the Red Bull or Verstappen went to win and to overturn that that deficit, like gap that he had to Verstappen, Leclerc, sorry, should I say, that massive gap, and that's currently what Jamie's doing right now, kind of clawing away at this championship lead, and you know, slowly getting there. And you know, I think
Preston spun out. I'm sorry, Preston has just spun out.
Oh my god!
Preston was having a good race as well, and now he's spun.
Oh my god!
Oh Jesus Christ!
Was that an unsafe? Coming back on track. I don't know what you'd say. An unsafe.
Entrance.
Yeah, unsafe entry by Preston.
Yeah, that was not good. I mean, whoever that was behind him, I think that was Sainz, who got very unfortunate in going into the back of him. Yeah, I mean, that's very unfortunate for Preston. The 2 constructors world champions is both not spinning out in the exact same places as well. Well, if not in the same place, in the same section, shall I say. But it would be great to see if Preston can catch up to Callum, to see if they can have a nice scrap and put on a nice little bit of a show. As we was talking about that big gap, George has pulled that 5.7 gap down to a 1.3 gap. George definitely on fire with these newer tyres compared to Jamie, where he will have to now defend like a lion against George in these these last remaining 15 laps.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you very much.
The gap is being
someone's spun
closed.
again.
Oh, I think it's Preston again.
It's Preston again. What is going on at the moment?
No.
He has majorly fallen down to P13 here.
I've been praising all season. I've jinxed him. Preston, I'm sorry.
It's the commentator's curse.
It actually is.
As soon as you come on as commentator, Bailey, you muck it all up.
Bailey, I think I might have given you a few curses when you first started out as well.
Imagine. And Preston has retired from the session.
No. So as he obviously retired in the pits, you'll have to come out and track and put it on the side, which could potentially mean another safety car. As we're talking right now, George has taken the lead of this race.
Jamie had slipped slightly, but he got it back.
Oh, did he? Oh, geez, well done to Jamie to getting that back. And do you reckon Preston's AI will cause a safety car?
No, it's completely DNF'd, so I don't know. It might cause a safety car, but I highly doubt it.
This race has been completely scuffed from the
So
start.
honestly, from qualifying to lap 23.
And I believe, if I just give me some time, I'll do some research. But I believe it's Azerbaijan next.
Yeah, it is.
Very interesting.
Oh, there's your answer. I don't even have to do the research. Thank you very much, Peter.
Sorted.
Yeah, I mean, Baku's a very good street circuit to do. I mean, as long as you're very careful around there, you know, there's a few parts in that on the Baku circuit where you have to be like very feather light on the throttle. Obviously, because of certain corners and turns that you have to do, is very slow pace. But if we look back to the top Jamie is holding off George. Jamie doing God's work right now and just trying to keep hold off George for these remaining laps to maybe take a second race win in a row, should I say.
And George does get the overtake now, though.
And George now flies past Jamie with DRS, but Jamie will have DRS on George though as he goes down into off the exit of turn 2. This will be interesting now. Can Jamie get past George again, but using his DRS? It's already a 1.4 second gap, so I don't think that's going to happen. And George is the faster car.
He hit the curb, and unfortunately that did slow him down. It bounced his car a little bit, giving that Mercedes porpoising sort of theme. And he's been sent back there. Peter's a little probably either laughing or very annoyed at me because, of course, you're a Mercedes fan, and I believe you're the only one I know. So, yeah.
Talking about this, my AI is up into P6 right now. AI doing God's work.
It really is. I was just about to mention it. How your AI is flowing up the order.
Yeah,
you are actually going to be getting a lot of points this race, Peter.
Well, you know, if Valtteri is very much a very nice person and lets me have that P5, I'll be happy.
I don't think he will. You know, I just don't. I bet you wish you stayed in now.
Oh no, like I was so annoyed. After qualifying, it really annoyed me, and I was just like,
What is going on behind your AI? There is a massive train of AIs just leading down.
Latifi doing God's work right now as well and holding off Fernando Alonso. It wasn't even Alonso, it was Perez. Well, let's just say he's no longer holding those positions.
Can we this is basically a constructors' battle. I mean, let's be honest. You've got Yuki Tsunoda for AlphaTauri. You've got Fernando Alonso for Charlie Alpine, of course. You've got Nicholas Latifi getting points for David. Whether he comes back or not, who knows? I mean, you've got Lando Norris, of course, for Bradley as well. You've got Sergio for Red Bull. This is a constructors/drivers AI battle.
I mean, I haven't seen what the updated constructors and drivers look like.
Do you want me to show you now? I've got it up.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing we do have to say about the constructors is Valtteri Bottas up in P5. That's going to be massive for Alfa Romeo.
No one needed that, by the way, did they? My share screen.
No.
Oh yeah, I was watching it, but yeah.
Sorry, it's to pull up the constructors. I'll put it back up.
It's fine. Wow, I mean, second closest person. Oh, so it's Jamie. He's really close. So if Jamie gets this win today, that will really help him in the drivers. Let's just say the two people who weren't so good in previous seasons have now somewhat to be the championship rivals.
And I mean, Preston, don't count out Preston or Harry or George just yet. This is literally a 5-way battle.
I mean, it is a 5-way battle. Obviously, Preston won't be scoring any points this weekend because he DNF'd. So it'll be another weekend where he doesn't score points. But, you know, he's really done good already. He's had, every time he's been in the race, he's always finished on a podium, which is consistency is key, is my word right there.
Fair enough. Do you want to see the constructors pretty quickly, or? Yeah.
I just wanted to see, so Red Bull so it's really close in the Red Bull and Alpine fight right now. Ah, nice. That's very neat, that is.
And with Charlie, of course, Charlie's not out, sorry, I thought he was out. No, he's up in P3, so this is a true battle for the constructors between Jamie and Charlie, and then Fernando and Sergio, so who knows what's going to happen, but I will quickly turn that off and show you back up the race for your viewing, Peter.
Exactly. To get a nice little see what's going on. Thank you, kind sir. So has Charlie even gained on there? So Charlie is not gaining on Jamie, which is very important. But I think if it stays like this, you know, if there's no more safety cars, then I reckon this could be your finishing grid order.
I mean, it really is. Sorry, Bailey, I'll let you take it.
No, you're good. I mean, I was just going to say, with the amount of time in between each driver, there isn't a massive gap. I mean, towards the top, the shortest gap is between P1 and P2 for George and Jamie. So if any gap is going to be closed, I would say it being that one. But it's still a long gap, but there is still a good 8 or 9 laps in it.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what can happen? I mean, this has really gone from a really tight, sort of timed battle to a really lengthy, well, I don't know, really big gap battle, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, no, I understand that, what you're trying to say there. I mean, I think if Jamie's tyres were maybe newer, I reckon that Jamie could have put up a bit more of a fight with George. But, you know, George in qualifying both times in the mess-ups got pole twice, shall I say. So George is really good around this track. You can see that his pace is very, very strong, as you can see. George never fails to turn up the pace when he needs it.
And he's now lapped the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz, so there definitely will be no points for Carlos Sainz today, unfortunately.
Long day for the Ferrari crew, as Harry's not DNF'd the race. Oh, and he got disqualified, actually. So Harry got disqualified. Carlos Sainz down into P15 with being lapped. So it is no points for Ferrari this weekend, or Harry. So it's a long day for the Ferrari crew.
Realistically, what's new? Something going wrong with the Ferrari camp.
Yeah, Ferrari never surprised to amaze me with their strategy.
Isn't great.
But Callum right now, what's going on? Can he catch up, or?
I mean, unless he can start putting in qualifying laps on these hards and maybe take this last podium slot from Charlie, which would really not be good for what Charlie needs. He probably wants to be scoring as many points this weekend as he possibly can. Obviously, he won't be catching up to Jamie anytime soon. Touch wood. Hopefully, nothing happens to Jamie. Yeah. And if it just stays like this, then I reckon unless Callum can start putting in qualifying laps, then I think this could possibly be it for this race.
But your AI though, I mean in P6, sorry I was unmuted again, trying to rest my voice a little bit. Your AI in P6 though, could he get up?
Yeah, I mean, I think for my AI, I think it's actually might be it for the AI. I think unless from that my AI will have to defend Fernando Alonso from he might have to defend for a bit, but I think there's five laps remaining. I think that if nothing happens to my AI now, hopefully nothing happens, touch wood again. And yeah, it'll be a good weekend for my AI.
It's a very solid result indeed, considering what had happened at the start of the race between you and Danny Ricciardo and Schumacher. To beat P6, there's nothing to take away from P6. It's a very solid result.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame it wasn't me pulling out this piece, because if it was probably me right now, I'd probably be able to push and get P5 at most. So if this was me actually driving right now, I probably would be able to push P5 and get a top 5 slot. Maybe potentially get push P4, but obviously the events that happened towards the start of the race did not go my way. So
I feel exactly what you mean, and I know about results not going your way.
Yeah, I mean, it was my first time racing in the league as well, and it's quite like, if I make this mistake, it's like it's on camera as well, so yeah. It's not like you can get away from it. It'll be there.
It is very demoralising when you make a mistake and you get a poor result.
In qualifying, I was really like, oh my god, my heart rate was just going. I was like, oh god, I really want to do good in qualifying. Literally, my first lap, I was actually a 10th off of, I think, was it Preston or Callum? It was one of those two. And I went purple sector 1. green sector 2 and then purple sector 3, and I saw it and I crossed the line. I was like, oh no, but I was like, no, because I was literally so close of like having provisional pole.
I mean, with the one shot qualifying, we was severely disappointed for you to see you get disqualified. But we don't even need to talk about it. We don't even need to talk about it.
I was practicing.
I don't know what you mean one stop. There was never a one stop.
Ah, yeah, my bad.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was doing practicing for this weekend as well, so I was actually like looking forward to doing a race, and I was like, I actually did like no flashbacks, equal AI, well not equal AI, equal car performance, and then subbed it on the difficulty I played, and then obviously I spun out once again in qualifying or something like that, and then I started from the back of the grid and pulled out a P8 P8 finish. So
you can't complain with that, can you? Really?
I mean, I've been practicing for it, and I was like, I know I'm not normally that good on online racings because like I like to push the car a bit, and then sometimes I just don't. I don't know when to stop pushing at certain times, and then it's just a habit I have that I push and I push and I push, and then I'll maybe hit a few curbs but catch it, and then I'll actually do the same curb again, and then probably go round fully or go into one of these walls. But you know, it is what it is, and yeah.
As we've been speaking, Jamie laps signs. But I mean,
yeah, I mean, Dan asked if I was gonna do another race again. I mean, I don't know. I have to pick the track. It has to be the weekend of like what track I would want to do, and I think this was the only. Well, I don't know what upcoming races there are, but I mean, if I practice enough for one of them, I should be fine. So,
I mean, I'd definitely love to see you racing again. From what I saw. Very solid, very
I mean,
solid.
I am a definite points contender. I mean, in the first lap, I was up into the points positions or something like that.
Yeah.
I was already into the points positions by lap 1 or 2 or something like that. But yeah, no, I definitely thought. Oh, sorry.
I was about to bring up any fights, but there are none happening. So keep taking it away.
Yeah, I was gonna say like. Oh, I don't even know what I was going to say now.
I'm very sorry.
That's fine. Yeah. Whatever tracks come up next, I mean, I might attend one more race this season, but, you know, that'll be it for this season. I'll be on commentary. I'll be on commentary for the rest of this season, though. I might attend one more race session. It just depends what track it is. I mean, I'm strong on certain tracks. Like this track, I'm like normally good at, but you know, I just feel I was only racing against AI, and I didn't do it much in like against like actual players, because if I race against actual players, then it gives me a more like, okay, like, well, I'm actually racing with other people now, so like AIs can do one thing, but players are very unpredictable at times, and yeah.
But shall we move on very quickly? We are 2 laps away from the end. Obviously, you know, I know, well, 1 lap barring miss lap. 1 more lap left. What great race this has been. Let's just break it down really quickly. What are both your thoughts on this race? Bailey, you first.
I mean, it's been a race, that is for sure. It's been a lot of drama, which from a spectator you love to see. I mean, you don't like to see as many people being disqualified or not finishing, but the entertainment side of it has been very interesting. The battle at the top, briefly between Preston and George and Jamie, was very interesting until the incident where Preston span out a couple of times, but since then George has been able to maintain it after overtaking Jamie. Of course, having them fresher tyres, when he got them warm, it was game over for me from there, and he's just been able to make that gap longer and longer and longer, up into 11 seconds nearly now, the gap between P1 and P2, and he's just raced perfectly for me to be able to maintain and finish this race off with the win.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I mean, if George had been here for other weekends, I reckon George would have been maybe closer to Charlie in the championship. I mean,
Here we go. Coming around final corner onto the straight, and here is your winner of the Austrian Grand Prix, just crashing at the same time. What a finish! George
Finishing
takes
in
that
style.
P1 position. Now Jamie crosses that line for the P2 position. Nice race by Jamie. What a battle. And then we go down to Charlie. Take him at P3. What a redemption story from the bottom to get that P3. And can we say the second return of Callum this season, finally getting that P4 position and doing it in style. And that is the end of the race, people. All drivers across the line. Your driver of the day, I would probably say, I don't know, maybe Charlie, because of, you know, Fernando Alonso, his own teammate. But we move on to the podium, people. And here we are with the podium. George walking out for, I don't know what time it is this season. But once again, taking that P1 position. Jamie taking P2. Charlie taking P3. I think all three of them. Even Callum, P4. All four of them will be happy with that. Unfortunately, Preston and I think Peter finished P6 actually. Or something. We will review it in a minute. But Preston and Harry unfortunately DNF'd. So they'll be very unfortunate, but hopefully next time we'll be back and my voice will be better.